Welcome to the LuckerDogsCast, number 35. 35.
37?
You tried, Arvinder.
35. It's 35.
37. It's a nice and prime number.
We'll get there in 2 weeks, don't worry. Oh no, we'll get there in like 3 weeks. I guess next week we could always record on Thursday before we leave for PAX, because that's coming up.
What is it, Thursday?
What is that nonsense?
What? What's wrong with Thursday?
Oh, we might as well not even do it this week then.
You mean next week?
No.
Wait, so you don't want to do it this week, but you want to do it Thursday next week?
No.
So you just don't want to do it at all?
Yeah.
Well, too bad. We got you by the balls. You're here. You got nowhere to go, okay?
That's graphic.
I can hang up for now.
No, you can't. Shh, don't let that happen.
Well, we do have enough people.
I mean, we do have enough people, but...
I didn't get enough sleep.
What do you mean?
When'd you wake up?
I slept only 7 hours.
Wait, I slept like less than that.
Wow.
Yeah, me too, dude. Come on.
Yeah,
We
but
have,
that's
like,
because
half-
Arvinder works on the weekend.
Wait, but when did you wake up?
7.
Oh, me too.
Lucas, that just means you have median sleep for today.
I'm tired, dude.
7's a good time to wake up.
No, it's not.
Nope.
I don't know, I actually
It's
kind of like
actually
it.
pretty
No.
terrible.
Now that I've like gotten used to waking up at 7, it's pretty nice.
Remember when I told you in college, like, yo, stop being shitty, and you were like, no?
Yeah?
And now you get it?
That can mean like so many things.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, back then, we always did things at night. So...
Yeah, but we
fault
should have
is
started at
that?
7 in the morning.
No, who was gonna do things 7 in the morning? Do you think Henry would do things 7 in the morning?
Yeah.
I would.
So it
I mean,
depends on
we
Henry.
reached at like 5 o'clock in the morning at one
Alright,
time.
well, that was like for the experience. That was a one-time thing.
Wait. So it's because of Henry that we stayed
No,
up
I'm
late?
saying that other people also wouldn't get up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, but like Lucas stayed up late just because like people were doing stuff at night. Henry would have woken up early if we were doing stuff in the
if
morning.
that's the case, someone needed to have put in the initiative and gotten us started on waking up early.
What's this initiative thing of which you speak?
It's when someone, takes initiative.
You just defined the word with the word.
Yeah, what's your point?
You suck.
Alright.
I remember when I started sleeping on the Duke couch is because we stayed up so late that I just didn't feel like going
No,
upstairs.
I don't
couch is
listen.
fucking disgusting.
I don't believe, like, anything you say about that couch at this point. Like, you come up with a new thing every other time for why you slept on the couch.
No, but like, I'm just saying one of the reasons. I didn't say the reason.
Okay.
What?
Alright, so since everyone else is gonna, like, talk about Dark Souls, why don't we let Ray talk about what he's gonna do this week?
Well, wait, shouldn't everyone talk about Dark Souls first and now interrupt before we go on to more Dark Souls? Put me in like the middle or something.
Like
I mean,
an
there's no-
intermission?
Yeah.
Alright, I guess we
A
can do
Dark
that.
Souls intermiso.
Yeah, we can do that. So,
Yeah, I guess.
this
Alright.
week, only one thing happened, and that is...
Enter the gungeon.
and we played Dark
Damn.
Souls 3, because that came out. Who wants to take the lead?
I'll do it.
Alright, perfect.
I'll go last.
Lucas, go ahead.
So Dark Souls 1 came out a long time ago, like 2011 or something. I don't know, it was pretty long.
Yeah,
And it was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
It had some issues. And then Dark Souls 2 came out, and I thought it was way better, but a whole bunch of people were like, oh, this has some issues. And they were like, oh, it's not interconnected. it's not interconnected enough. And then
Well,
Dark
and
Souls 2
the
came around.
and the big
What?
nightmen with overheads.
Oh yeah, that was fine though.
Okay.
And it wasn't interconnected enough. So then Dark Souls 3 came out, and it's the most interconnected game I've ever played. 10 out of 10.
Wait. What? Okay. First,
Yeah.
I have a,
That
first
basically
I have
sums it
a,
up for me too.
I have a legitimate question. What's overhead tracking mean?
Oh, you know how like
Arvinder?
in games when like people will do an overhead, they'll like raise their sword and then come down on you.
Like straight up and then just go down straight?
Well, yeah. But you know how in like Dark Souls you can roll to the side?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there were enemies in Dark Souls 2 where they would go down on you, but when you dodged, they would just
that's
slide their body. Like there wasn't an animation playing. Their
Yo,
body would
Arvinder,
just
keep
slide.
this PG, man.
Their body would just slide with you and then hit you after you rolled.
So it would be like a transposition over?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or a transition over? That's kind of cool.
No, that's stupid.
That's not.
It's dumb.
I know.
You can't dodge.
I wouldn't play that game, but like that's kind of cool that it did that.
No, that's so stupid. It looks stupid. Like the whole thing about when you see the boss, you're like, oh, I can't wait for the cool animations. But then it's like slide the body, and that was it.
Melty is dancing.
No.
You know,
No.
they say that playing Dark Souls is like a dance. This is what they're talking about.
All
Who
right.
says that?
I don't know. I saw it on like some page that Arvinder linked me.
All right then.
I don't. What? Okay. Anyway, let's move on from that. What about you, Shashank? What are your thoughts?
Wait, what the fuck? That wasn't my thoughts.
I said I
Come
was
on, but I thought I got it. All right, fine. Let's let Lucas go.
Alright. So actually, this shit's like the greatest game ever made. I'm not done yet, but I just got to a part that I won't spoil. It's really good. And pretty much every part before it was also really good. And it's pretty cool. So yeah.
Get that glowing recommendation.
10 out of 10.
All right, BeomHe,
But
what do you have to say about Dark Souls?
it's looking very gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
It's a very gorgeous looking game.
So pretty much they took all the nice tech they made for Bloodborne and then just shoved PC power into it,
Yep.
and that's why it looks
DirectX
like
fucking-
12.
yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, because Bloodborne was stuck on PS4, but now it's like, take this in, more power, and then it's just putting it out there.
Except turn motion blur off, because that's ass.
Oh, you don't like
I like-
motion blur? Oh, dude.
I've
I
had-
fucking hate that shit.
Dude, I love motion blur, except for when it's in like Final Fantasy Type 0. There's like a sweet spot for motion blur. Sometimes it just goes too far, but I think this one's fine.
You turn around and then everything's like all shit looking.
It's just cause like, you ever turn your head too fast?
No.
All right. Thanks, Shashank. Thanks.
Moving on.
I feel like ever since like Gears of War added motion blur to everything, all the games started doing it pretty much. I'm sure like there was a game that came in before that made it big, but Gears of War was the first one I remember that was like, it's really in your face about it. Cause they're like, you know,
I don't think motion blur is that bad. Because, like, did Dark Souls 2 have motion blur? No, it didn't, right?
I mean, honestly,
It didn't.
I don't even notice it that much.
Me too.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I think I'd notice it if it wasn't there, but like, since it's there, like, things in like regular days have like motion blur, so I guess it's just
Yeah.
whatever.
Cause your eyes can't be good all the time. When you're moving, your eyes are like, I don't know what to do.
Except if you're bumming.
Yeah, well, BeomHe's got perfect eyes, so he needs to.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's why I have glasses on.
Well,
I
with
turn motion
with
blur
glasses, with the glasses, they're perfect, right?
Probably should turn
Oh.
off motion blur in like CS:GO though.
Nah, dude.
I have it on.
Ah, you.
That game is motion blur?
It makes it
Yeah,
more
what about
immersive.
what about max acceleration?
Wait, so honestly, like, when is that useful?
Never.
What?
Never.
When is what used?
Mouse acceleration.
What is that?
The faster you move your mouse, the faster the cursor moves.
I don't think that was the best explanation, but it'll have to do.
But like,
I
So
guess
it
it was-
accelerates, actually.
but like, someone made it, right? As in,
Yeah, and that
then,
person should be fired.
so then if I don't move my mouse, it keeps on moving?
No,
Like, if I'm
no.
moving my mouse and then I just stop.
Distance
Since it-
covered increases with time you've been moving, basically, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
no
thought like
longer one-to-one.
the mouse would just continue moving until I stopped the mouse from moving.
It's no longer one-to-one motion. They put an acceleration on it.
I mean, if my mouse was like tiny and I was playing Civ on like 4K, maybe
Oh man, gotta reach the other end of the screen.
that might be the only.
No, but
Well,
seriously,
use-
like, imagine that. Someone made it, and they put it in, like, everything, so something must have been good about it. Or was it just one of those things where it was like, well, it's easy to do, we put it in, like, 6,000 years ago, why would we take it out?
I think it's one of those things that's like it's pretty easy to implement and they can act like it's a feature.
Okay. Alright.
Maybe it's just for people who like don't use their mice.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, like does mouse acceleration work on the trackpad?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because
it-
that shit's actually useful. First
Yeah,
of all, you're not gonna
yeah.
use the trackpad to play video games, so you can
If
like rule that out.
So I use my PS4 controller with Dark Souls, right? But in the menu, I like other games too. But in the menu, you can map the PS4 middle trackpad, and the trackpad for the PS4 is really small. So I guess it would be really useful, but I don't like using it that much because I still use my mouse for those menu options. But if you didn't have that option, using the trackpad on the PS4 would benefit from this.
Alright, I think we found it. Good job, everyone. High five.
Yeah, we did it. Yo, can
Yeah,
you
nice
imagine
job, Ray.
if we had motion blur in real life?
What do you,
What?
They kind of do, right?
do?
That was
It wasn't funny.
Bless you.
Oh, I forgot something though.
Okay, what?
Another thing about Dark Souls 2 that's actually, or 3 rather, that's good, is that every boss is like different as shit. They're not just human, blah, blah, blah. We kind of talked about that before.
I don't know. I'll talk about that later.
Alright, well,
I like it.
So as Lucas was talking about with the interconnecting thing, I don't think we'll ever really get a game as like open as Dark Souls 1 was, because like that was probably like a nightmare to design in the first place, and most people are probably like put off by it, because I remember a lot of people would play Dark Souls 1, they would run to like the catacomb area or the new Londo ruins, and they're like, I can't beat this.
You're gonna have to you're gonna have to explain that a little bit more, because I haven't played Dark Souls 1.
So the game kind of pushes you, like nudges you towards the Undead Burg, or right? Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, Undead Burg. Mm-hmm. But you have the option to go to many different places, like you can go to the tomb of actually the first part's the catacombs, where the skeleton dudes are, and then there's
they did Demon Souls like this too, right? Where the first level is like Boletaria, but like you could go anywhere else if you wanted.
But in Demon Souls, the other areas weren't like that much harder. Like you could beat those on your first try with the starting weapons, but in Dark Souls, trying to beat the New Londo ruins or the catacombs part is pretty difficult unless like you're playing it on a second playthrough or something.
I guess I wouldn't know.
Like a god.
Yeah, or you're just like amazing your first time through.
Well, I don't know.
They just gotta get that little circle shield and parry.
Because like
trying to play like World 5 in Demon Souls. It's the Storm place.
No, not Storm place. Wait, are you talking about the place with the rolling skeletons?
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard to play if you were a beginner.
That's the very first area I always go to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they give you a ton of souls,
and you get really good item pickups there.
Guess that makes sense. Yeah. I always go to the Stone Fang one. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
All right, but so in Dark Souls 2, they pretty much just said, all right, instead of all of these interconnecting things, we're going to make the tree branch from here. Or not tree branch, it's more like a stick.
A stick.
Just one branch that has like a couple of like little sticks hanging out of it along the way. And that's
so like optional.
Yeah, pretty much. And then in Bloodborne, they kind of did a mix of the two, and this is pretty much taking the exact same structure that Bloodborne had, and they're pretty much bringing it over. Also, this entire game is just like, oh, they did this in Bloodborne and it was good. Let's bring this over here now.
So I can actually talk about that in my part. But,
yeah, like what something that Shashank would probably notice is that if you played the Bloodborne DLC, the Old Hunters, it's really obvious that they were working on stuff that they ended up putting in Dark Souls 3. Like the most obvious thing is that enemies fight each other.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, they put that into the Old Hunters, and they ended up using that again here in Dark Souls 3. Yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
All right, Shashank.
But why don't we let Ray go first, because he said he wanted to.
I'm already not first. That's the point.
Yeah.
You're first in the queue, man.
Estimated waiting time is like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, Shashank might go too long. You might want to go.
Okay, this week, first of all, Alyssa need to go to the DMV today, right?
For what?
License transfer.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, moved in and all that jazz. So we get there, and we messed up because the lease, like, when we went to the place to, like, get her put on the lease, they just, like, wrote her name into the contract, which is technically legal by contract law. Like, you can do that, Right. You just write shit in and then re-sign it. But you can't do that for a DMV document. Like, they won't accept it because, anyone could have written it in, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So we had to rush back to the apartment, print out her insurance policy, which actually had like the address and stuff that we needed for proof of address, and then go back there. This is where the fun started. You know how like on the internet, specifically 4chan, you'll read stories of like large inbred white people, and you'll think, oh my god, someone was exaggerating for, effect.
Okay.
We met one of those in the flesh. In the very flesh, I should say.
In the diabetic flesh.
Yes, the diabetic flesh. That's one point for them, definitely diabetic. So what happened was that they were slowly melting down, very slowly. It happened throughout the course of our stay there.
We were there for hours.
Yeah, we got there at like 7:30, and then including the time we took to come back to the apartment and go back there, we were out at like 1:10.
Oh my god.
So it was like 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. I think time spent doing this shit was over 5 hours.
Oh.
No, over 6, technically, if you include the drive. So, anyways, what happened was that she was worried because you're supposed to, and this is advice for all you viewers out there who will have to do this someday in the future, you're supposed to set up your new car insurance first before canceling your old one, because your car always has to be insured, right? This person did not do that.
Oh.
And it
She
was...
just driving with the uninsured car?
No. She was there to get her new plates and stuff, but her car would, like...
Well, she had Massachusetts insurance, and she was like, I'm in Connecticut now, so that means I need Connecticut insurance, but I don't have a Connecticut license, so I can't get Connecticut insurance. That's what she thought.
I'm not even sure all her concerns were valid, because at some point she just started going nuts, but I digress. So anyways, the point is, she didn't get her new insurance first, and, like, she was already getting ready to cancel her old ones. Not a good idea. So, like, she started getting worried about that, and she's like, oh my god, I'm not made of money, what am I gonna do? Because it actually is really expensive to get, like, your license transfer stuff. Like, that was, like, $300 down the drain today.
Oh!
Really?
Approximately.
What?
And her husband, too. We should talk about her husband.
Well, we'll go there. Husband / potentially son. We didn't really work it out. So, no, not a joke.
Not a joke. I thought it was her son at first.
Yeah, and because Alyssa thought it was her son at first, I thought so too. But anyways, so we're there, and she's starting to freak out slowly, and then she gets on the phone with, like, her insurance agent, and she's freaking out at them too, because apparently they told her something different than, okay, here we go, 130, let me do the math, carry the infinity.
It was like
242, I exaggerated.
242. But when you get new insurance, you also have to pay, like, the first month of insurance right away. So she was saying, I don't have money for the insurance right now and this.
Yeah, but she starts screaming at the person on the phone. Not screaming, but, like, instead of suddenly freaking out, like, for example, a mental person would do, this is why I thought of her as the inbred archetype of crazy white person. She slowly degenerated into really, really loud talking until at last she was finally shouting.
No, it got to the point where the people working at the DMV were like, excuse me, miss, if you don't calm down, we're going to have to escort you off the premises. And then her husband, I guess, like, honey, please calm down.
At which point she starts saying, and I'm diabetic and I haven't had anything to eat today, despite the fact that there was a cafe downstairs.
There is a cafe, and they're waiting for like 3 hours to see someone. So her husband / son could have gone down there to get her something.
Right, and the reason that, like,
But she's diabetic. She couldn't eat anything in the cafe. It's probably full of sugar or something.
okay, you know diabetic means, like...
I'm joking.
Okay.
That was a dumb joke.
So for the audience that are uninformed and potentially misinformed by Shashank, diabetes doesn't mean hypo or hyperglycemic. It means your glycemic is fucked up.
No, I'm hypoglycemic. I am not diabetic. Hypoglycemia is something different, but it's similar.
The more you know.
Yeah.
So anyways, eventually she just sort of, like, subsided into quiet sobbing for a while, and then we left.
Yeah.
It was
sad.
it was an experience. And, like, to act like, okay, so her behavior is already indicative of, like, the sort of mental image you conjure when you read 4chan stories about crazy people freaking out. But she was also almost perfectly spherical in appearance. Like, for example, where there should be an indent where her neck would be in her perfectly spherical appearance, she had about 4 or 5 chins to fill it in. So she was actually perfectly
You should
spherical.
tell them how she was begging to get her Massachusetts license back so she can drive home. She's like, if I get my Connecticut license and I don't have insurance, I can't drive home. So she
Yeah.
was like begging the DMV people to get her old license back.
She basically just tried to peace out halfway through.
Well, at least
All
you
right,
saw
so
that
basic-
there was a problem and tried to get out of it.
Yeah, well...
That's what you got out of this?
I have a computer at home too. She's like, I can't do insurance stuff online because we have to go to the library. So she was asking her husband, like, if they could go to the library. She's like, what time does the library close? So she was freaking out about that too.
Also, this is another reason why public libraries are important. They don't just provide books, they also provide public services for the underprivileged.
I have used the library internet before when the power in my house went out.
That too.
Point taken.
But I mean, you can't really justify the existence of libraries based on just that. You have to
you're
think
right.
of the other stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Imagine that libraries are now just the backup power source.
Yeah. Oh, I also had to print stuff, so, can't print if there's no power.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, long story short, DMV stuff done. And I just played Bravely Second for the rest of the day.
You were playing Bravely Second while we were in the DMV the
Yeah,
entire
but
time.
I played my games while I was at DMV from I think. Go away, honey.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Damn, you must have gotten pretty far then with all that time.
I got to chapter 2
of.
He got
I
to the
don't
second
know.
chapter.
I mean, the thing about the first game, and it's been long enough that I can say this, is that chapter 4 or 5 appears to be the ending, and then there's like 5 more chapters worth of time loops.
You mean when you play the game over and over again?
Sort of, yeah. So, I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't use the same sort of plot twist for this game.
Especially since, like, that was the thing that a lot of people didn't like about the game.
Yeah, I'm sure they learned something. I'm looking forward to, well, they've had some plot twists already. It was very quickly done. Anyways, gameplay is pretty interesting. The classes are, like, weird. So, what happens is that in this game, all of the basic sort of RPG-ish classes are actually bonus, like, side quest classes, and then all of the regular classes do, like, weird shit. So, the first class you get that's, like, a magic class is you can turn the magic into random other stuff. So, like, you can give magic the quick attack property, or make it into a physical attack, or turn any spell into, like, a effect over time sort of thing. So, basically, I was in, like, the undead dungeon right now, and I was just trying to hit the undead enemies with mists of revive, so that every turn there was a small chance they'd just die.
So they're actually getting you to be creative instead of hit the spell, fire, ice.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of weird ones. It's like, besides the go first automatically one, there's you hit only enemies that are identical to each other, so like the same type of enemy. And then later on there's ones that like automatically reflect attacks against you with that spell, which I guess would be good against undead because you could just hit yourself to heal yourself. So yeah, classes are pretty well designed, I think. No game-breaking loops this time so far, so that's good.
What do you mean, no game-breaking loops?
Okay, so for example, in the first game, there was a class for like, it was basically the bard class, it was performer, and you could grant everyone an extra turn, right?
Okay.
But it costs 3 of your turns, and there's like 4 party members, so it evens out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you like leveled up the basic class enough, you had the mimic skill, which could mimic any skill at no cost. So if you made yourself the performer and the freelancer class, you could sing once and then mimic it 3 times in a row, and then have everyone back at like max turns.
That's pretty broken, though.
Yeah, I used that to get through a lot of bosses. It was still hard. Yeah.
What do you mean it's so hard? You didn't have to do anything.
No, because later on in the game, the bosses also used the same broken exploits that you did.
Damn. Well, at least
Like,
they knew about it.
Yeah, like the bosses eventually came in parties of 4 or 3, and at first they were like thematic ones, and then the very last time you fight all of the bosses, they're arranged to be specifically broken. So the one guy who gives weakness to fire element paired with every single boss that uses fire attacks.
Well, I guess they're just like, hope you learn how to play the game.
Yeah, and then basically, one boss that grants everyone, his ability is to just grant everyone extra turns, paired with everyone with OP moves that require giving up extra turns.
At least they're nice and creative. Unlike the other games that Square Enix was releasing around that time.
Oh, yeah.
What game was that?
Lightning Returns.
That game was so good.
What part was the good part?
I never played that game.
The part where it ran at like 20 frames per second? I guess.
I didn't play that game. I wouldn't know.
The part where it was just like cosplay the game?
I didn't play that game. I wouldn't know.
You mean fashion designer?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's, I guess, where the Louis Vuitton stuff came from. It's like, well, we already made a model that can take on a bunch of different clothes. Why don't we just put on some Louis Vuitton on there, too? What a bunch of fucks.
I'm surprised they didn't do that with the Final Fantasy X-2 characters.
Yeah, they could have done that, but I guess back then...
Dress spheres, man.
Back then, high-quality 3D models were difficult to do.
Back when?
2002? I think that game came out. Yeah.
Please. That's like another era.
Yeah, exactly. Even like Pixar movies didn't look...
Wait, Pixar movies still looked good then. Toy Story came out in 1995 and looked great.
Yeah, because they used stuff that wasn't completely human.
Why are we going on such a random tangent?
Because I said something, then you said something, then I followed up with something.
Oh yeah, Arvinder. So I've decided.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start lowering the brightness on my laptop slightly.
Why?
I figure I can probably shave a few cents off my electricity bill.
Oh.
Wait, I do that shit all the time.
Wait, what?
In college, my brightness was like 0.
But you didn't pay like...
Okay, that's a little extreme. I mean, going from like 15 to 14.
What the fuck?
It's little things that matter.
That's stupid.
Well,
Nope.
what if you
Little
just
things don't matter at all.
what if you like just didn't use your laptop as much?
Yo, Arvinder, I'm gonna need you to take that back and shove it up your asshole.
All right, I can accept that with my like constant podcasting on at all times. I can understand.
No, for real though. What I was actually gonna say was, you remember how? Actually, I'll talk about this later. Let's move on to the next person's week.
All right, Shashank, bring back the Dark Souls.
Fine, I guess I'll go now. But first, I wanted to bring up the story about what one of my coworkers did.
Oh,
We were talking about queues and stuff,
okay.
and you know how like it's annoying to go and take a phone call when you're like calling about a service error or something. Like you're calling customer service for stuff, and it says you're like in queue.
Yes.
So my coworker wrote a gem in Ruby for it, right? Which calls the service for you in our application. When it calls the person, right? It waits until it hears a human voice on the other side, and then if you haven't picked up the phone by then, or if you don't have it on speakerphone, it just hangs up.
Right.
I thought that would be funnier than it was.
All right. Well, it wasn't funny. Now, actually, tell us something interesting.
So what? Yeah, I never played like Dark Souls 1. I played a little bit of Dark Souls 2, and then I was like, this is boring. But I played Demon Souls and Bloodborne, beat Bloodborne, played, I guess like 20% of Demon Souls, but whatever. So my perspective on this game is like mostly due to Bloodborne, and I have to say that I really like Bloodborne so much more than this game.
Oh,
That means no,
Kids have wrong opinions. It's okay.
No, this game is good, but like for me personally, I like Bloodborne a lot more. That's what I'm saying.
well, what's the
Because I like playing aggressive. And the bosses and enemies were fun in Bloodborne. Dark Souls is fun, but I'm feeling like it's getting tedious. Getting items isn't like as satisfactory, and just like destroying enemies isn't as satisfactory as they were in Bloodborne. Because in Bloodborne, right, you get the right weapons, and or all of the weapons were great. Most of the weapons were great in Bloodborne, right, Arvinder? Like they all did cool things, different things. They weren't like different swords or different like a curved sword or a falchion or whatever. They're all like completely different. You had an axe that you could spin around in a circle. You had one sword that became a hammer, and second form that you could use to destroy enemies. It was fun because of that. And like that game rewards you for being aggressive and like playing fast. Whereas like Dark Souls, you want to play slow. A lot of people play Dark Souls with the shield. You don't have to, but like that's like what the stereotypical usage is or play style is. Most people play Dark Souls with the shield. You can't say no. Like the guy,
People are wrong.
and Dark Souls is more about parrying and handling it slow, and it's tedious because I like rushing in and I like destroying enemies. I like 1v1ing like NPC hunters in Bloodborne that don't have shields, and I hate fighting knights in Dark Souls because they have shields.
Did you try kicking them?
So my weapon doesn't do kicks because I picked a Bloodborne dual sword weapon, which is fine for it's what I want to play as, but like I just have to wait for the knight to lower down his shield or dodge and then hit him in the back. Wait, I can't and comboing stamina drain is such a big thing in this game, where it's not in like Bloodborne. Like even from the get-go, you can combo really easily. You usually have enough stamina in that game.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you have to manage estises here in Bloodborne, you have like blood vials, right? And it's always nice to have that regain and the blood vial set up because you never have to worry about healing. You actually don't. And like I can focus on fighting, so I don't have to worry about like regain and stuff in like Bloodborne. I don't have to worry about managing my health, right? Mainly my stamina, because if you're good at Bloodborne, you usually don't have to manage your health. But in this one, it's just another thing that I have to worry about, right? And stamina drains so fast. And then like the equip load, the fact that it makes a difference, it's really cool. And I like the way that they've done it here, but it's still not as good as in Bloodborne where it just didn't have it. Because in that game, I guess it was just more for style. It had some factor, but I liked it better there because it was simpler and it was faster paced. And finally, the bosses in Dark Souls, the enemies in Dark Souls I like more, except for the knights. The regular enemies I like more. The bosses, I don't know, because some of the bosses are just like, I hate I hate like multiple copy bosses or clone bosses. So just bosses that spawn multiple copies, or like it's like a 3v1 boss. I like that one major boss fight, or like preferably one versus like an NPC. Like if it was just like Abyss Watcher's fire mode, like second phase, that would be a great boss fight.
Spoilers.
That second phase was great. But see, so that's my perspective. But it's a great game, and I really like it. I like it more than the other Dark Souls. It's faster, it's more enjoyable, it looks great. But I just like Bloodborne more. And I don't know. I guess that's why what I said. But and also I feel like I actually cared about the lore of Bloodborne, but that might be because I'm not like as exposed to Dark Souls. But Bloodborne just seems like the setting was more for me, like that 1800s like Gothic type of feel. It was really cool.
Yeah, man. But you know what?
Does Bloodborne have like a clearer lore than Dark Souls?
It has a pretty clear lore.
It's a lot simpler to get, but that's also partially because there's less of it.
Right.
And
But I mean, like, if you compared Bloodborne to like Dark Souls like Dark Souls 1 in terms of lore, is it more understandable, or is it just
So
kind of?
I feel like from the videos that I've seen from Dark Souls 1 that Arvinder showed me, like the recap stuff, Dark Souls 1 is like more complete, and like Bloodborne leaves more up to the interpretation of the person playing the game. So a lot of it, like again, like with the Soul series, is about reading the items and stuff, but even the ending and a lot of that stuff is up to like interpretation. And I know that the Dark Souls 1 ending is up to interpretation, but because it's kind of like structured a little bit simpler in Dark Souls 1, like there isn't as many factors, I guess they could afford to be a little bit more complete. I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the impression that I got.
well, pretty much
In Bloodborne, there are a few.
like in Bloodborne, you get about halfway through the game and you're like, oh, I
It's like
get
a
what
180.
I get what's going on here. And whereas in Dark
Dark
Souls,
Souls, that just never happens.
yeah, that there's no like one point where you're like, okay, I understand why these problems are happening. Whereas in Bloodborne, you're like, oh, that's where all of this came from. I get it now.
And then, like, Bloodborne also experimented with, like, different types of enemies, like Beast and Kin and stuff. That wasn't really a big thing in Bloodborne, but I think in the next games it probably will be. And also, gem infusing in Bloodborne was super easy. You could just put gems on and take them off, like just like that. You didn't have to, like, use another item or anything. And I guess it made people, like, actually use them. In that game, you're actively encouraged to infuse stuff. But like Lucas said earlier today, like he never infused anything before, or at least not in Dark Souls 2. So I guess it's not as common.
Yeah, in Bloodborne, the gem system didn't really have many downsides. It wasn't until like much later in the game that you got stuff that gave negative consequences. Whereas in Dark Souls, whenever you do an infusion, there's always a downside to it.
Mm-hmm. And that was really cool because, like, even the cursed gems that you could do in Bloodborne, it was fun, especially like when people invaded and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And I guess I just prefer dashing instead of rolling.
Yeah, the dash.
That's just me. And in Dark Souls, like, I actually, like, for the first part of the current level that I'm on, I just ran through without any clothes because, like, carrying like that huge sword that I got from somewhere, I just couldn't keep my carry weight underneath like the specific percentage for like dashing and stuff. Man. Yeah, that's what I have to do now. And like I just ran around without any clothes, and now I can understand why people why that's like a viable thing.
Yep. Does anyone have any other Dark Souls 3 remarks before we move on to the news?
Nope.
What about you, Arvinder? You played Bloodborne too.
I already talked about it.
Wait, did we go
said
over
like a
those
couple of
already?
things.
Well, all we did was play Dark Souls.
All we did was Dark Souls, yeah.
Wait, I played Enter the Gungeon.
No, shut up.
That was pretty
No,
fun.
shut up. Shut up.
Arvinder, I remembered something while I was washing the dishes.
What?
So, this is how I'm going to convince you to absolutely not play Bravely Second.
Okay.
You know, in the Final Fantasy games, there's the Blue Mage class, right? Like, you know, they learn monster skills and all that.
Yeah, Kumari.
Yeah. So, in this game, that class is called the Catomancer class.
Uh-oh.
So, what you do is, first of all, gaining access to this class allows you to talk to the cats around the map, but that's besides the point.
That's pretty interesting.
You learn magic the same way you usually do. You see it used, and then you learn it. And the way you cast magic is you have a collection of cat food on hand, and you use cat food to summon a cat that then casts the monster magic for you.
Well, I guess they got creative with it, and they know people like the cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I wasn't prepared for this.
Well, no, it's not bad because at least there's novelty to it.
Yeah, you have to dig for cat food on the various parts of the map,
and that just makes it funny then.
Different areas in the game will grant you different types of cat food, which are used to be the ammo for different types of monster magic.
Now I'm actually kind of liking it.
Yeah, so for example, one fish type monster has a water jet attack that like breaks guard, and you have to feed cats dried fish to have them appear and then cast that magic.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, shit like that.
It reminds me of Super Mario. The one that they did with Square RPG. There you go.
There you go.
I blanked.
Mario.
Remember that RPG with Mario?
Like Super Mario.
No, but there was that item. It's like a Yoshi cookie or something.
Yeah.
And when you used it, Yoshi would come along to like eat the dude or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit like that, man. But the plot associated with the cat character is kind of silly. The enemy that grants this class basically uses regular house cats as assassins. And it gets kind of weird, like, seeing, some super tough guy be brought to hospital condition by, like, a tabby. It was kind of jarring.
Alright, and speaking of jarring, let's take a break and then we'll be back with the news. We're back for the news.
Wait,
alright, guys.
Wait, where's Shashank? Where's Shashank?
Shank's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's here.
Oh.
Wait, what? You expected that I was gonna say something?
No.
Yes!
no.
I expected a reaction of some sort.
No, I'm trying to tone down what I say on the podcast, remember?
But that wasn't during the podcast.
Alright, well, that was something for the break that we're not gonna bring into the real podcast. But let's get started with the news with how Rust added female characters now. But
Whoa.
there's
Ooh,
a catch.
Wow.
There's a cat?
Yeah.
There's a cat?
No, a catch. So
There's a cat right here.
back in the day, it used to be that whenever you would start the game, you would get a randomly assigned ethnicity and you would get a randomly assigned penis size, right? Because, in that game,
Okay.
everyone's naked and stuff. But now you also get randomly assigned gender and it's permanent.
Sides.
Nice.
So now, like, if you play the game and it turns out you don't want to be a man or a woman, well, you're stuck with it unless you decide to make another Steam account, get the game again, and try it with that.
You can't just make a different character in Rust?
No.
It's time for your Steam ID.
Damn, another reason why
hilarious.
Rust is shit.
Yeah, well,
So I'm guessing even if you like got multiple copies,
yeah.
you would have to make different Steam accounts.
Account for each one. Yeah,
Do we accidentally still have Rust?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys do because you guys are fucking retarded.
well, the creator was like, well, we put in all the minorities, like the different ethnicities and stuff. No one reacts differently depending on if you're like black, white, or whatever. So he's like, well, why don't we just do the same thing with man and woman and see what happens there? And that's what they're doing. Moving on to Titanfall 2, there was a teaser. And the only interesting thing is that it seems like the Titans will now have swords. The swords. What
So
if?
basically, it's becoming Gundam.
Yes.
That's not a bad thing.
That's all I'm hoping for. I just want to see like it go way more anime than like any Western stuff should really be going. That's what we need here. Because like, not to be like one of those people, but like a lot of Japanese games have like a nice style that Western games kind of just lack. And
Like what?
like, you know how in Dark Souls we play that and you're like, oh my god, oh that's so cool, oh. You don't get that a lot of times in like the Western games because they just like they don't got style, man.
Well, I get that.
All they have
Western
is like
games sometimes.
super big shoulder pieces from Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just,
That dude's shoulders are huge. He must be really good.
Literally
I get
mountains on your shoulders.
yeah. Or I mean, obviously some games have it. It's just that it's not like they don't have it to I don't know, like a science that the Japanese.
That the Japanese have? The Japanese have style down to a science?
Yeah, that's right.
I guess Victor's right then.
Japanese master race right here.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
What a weeb.
All right. So, do you guys know anything about Fear Effect?
Is it like a shitty Mass Effect?
No, it's not. It's not a shitty Mass Effect game. It's like some old.
It's a good Mass Effect game.
It's like some old IDOS action adventure game or something, right? But the only reason I found this interesting was because they're making a Kickstarter to make a sequel. But what's happening here is that it's not being like funded by Square Enix or anything, but Square Enix is giving the rights to other people to use an IP that they own. And it's like part of this thing that they're starting. I think it was called like the Square Enix Collective, where they're letting other developers use their IPs to do something that they want to do instead of just holding on to them.
So they're basically like a licensing company now.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, if no one's, like, using that stuff, right, might as well try something with them. And for anyone that cares about basketball...
Nope.
All right, and on to the next news item.
Alright, so if anyone does or doesn't know, Kobe Bryant is retiring this year. So NBA 2K17 is getting a Legend Edition, so that way you can pay $20 extra and you'll get the Kobe like extra stuff with the game. It's pretty much like the collector's edition of the game, but with like Kobe thing.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. Back in 2010, NBA 2K11 made a Michael Jordan game because he got inducted in the Hall of Fame. But back then, every game was a Michael Jordan copy, and every game was just $60. So maybe they're like, oh, well, everybody bought the Michael Jordan copy. So they're like,
just charge a little more and they'll get Kobe.
And everybody loves 2K11 because that's one of the best 2Ks in the 2K community. It's like Madden 08 in the Madden community.
New Street Fighter stuff happening, or at least fixing old Street Fighter stuff, because as you guys, I don't know if you know, but Street Fighter V has rage quitting issues because there's no penalty for rage quitting in that game. What you can do is if it happens, you can report, and Capcom's like, okay, we'll manually go through the reports and issue any penalties if we find them. But it's...
You know how Arvinder knows about this? Because he probably rage quit all the time.
Wait, no. The thing is, like, a lot of apparently experience a lot of rage quitting. I've only
Arvinder, are you shit at the Street Fighter? Yes or no?
Yes.
He's in.
Yeah, but
he's
I take my losses. I take
Super
my losses,
bronze.
though. Like, I am in there. Like, when I get my ass handed to me, I'm like, yes, I lost. I just accept it. But I've only had like 2 people rage quit on me, which is nice. Maybe like at the low level.
That's because you're in.
Yeah. At the low level, they're like, oh, well, I didn't even know there wasn't any penalty, so I didn't even think about it. So it could always be that.
They're probably still learning the characters at this level.
So
They're like, oh, that guy could do that. Oh, well.
Capcom said they're actually gonna come out with some sort of penalty in the April update. So we'll see what they actually do.
Was it you that said in the podcast last week, or was it on the podcast that like Street Fighter V came out because there was like some sort of fighting tournament or something, and they wanted to get it out by then?
Yeah, they wanted to get it out so for the Capcom Cup, so that way Capcom Pro Tour, so that way that people had enough time to practice for it when the tournaments show up.
Is that really popular for like a recently released fighting game? Like, would all the pros know the meta and like all the skills of all the players and stuff?
Well,
and be ready for a tournament?
Well, since everyone's getting the game at the same time, they would all have the same amount of time to get ready for it.
Yeah, but that's like...
But didn't Street Fighter V like add new characters?
Yeah, there are new characters, but still, like
it's like everybody kind of doesn't know what they're doing.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
The Pro Tour starts in the summer, I believe, so there should be plenty of months.
So there's like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because they did the same thing with Pokken. That's why I'm asking. And I don't know if they're fighting games, so I guess I guess it was just like similar for all these fighting games.
It's a new thing. This wasn't something that used to happen. Yeah. So for anyone that cares about Splatoon, the next Splatfest is going to be Spongebob themed. So now you can pick Team Spongebob or Team Patrick and color that shit yellow or pink.
Wow.
No one cares about SpongeBob?
I love SpongeBob.
Oh wait,
I don't
Alyssa,
have a Wii U.
which team did you pick for the Splatfest? Oh, she picked Team Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick. No, there's no...
Yo, Arvinder.
Yeah. What's that, Ray?
I don't want to be Pinhead.
Okay. Alright, so now that, good thing you're here, Ray, because remember when I told you about the sequel to Shin Megami Tensei 4 that was coming out in Japan?
Shin Megami Tensei 5?
Well, yeah, it was, in Japan it's called Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final, but it's coming out in the West this summer, and it's going to be called Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Oh shit!
See, this is why, like,
Summer, yeah.
American companies have style. Final versus Apocalypse? Apocalypse is so much cooler.
No, we hear Apocalypse all the time. Final, it's like a mystery. Like, Final what? I don't know.
No, but then it's like Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy is shit.
Alright, you need to calm down.
I think what the Western people are very good at doing is draining the ever-loving shit out of words that are supposed to be great.
Yeah, like
who the fuck uses Twilight anymore, right?
Or any words in like video games.
Revengeance?
Yeah, but at least the Japanese said, let's take something stupid that everyone does and make it dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like revengeance.
Yeah. It's not like Resurgence or like any of those other things that are just like, okay, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. You know, they're doing something.
I don't know what a revengeance is.
Exactly. You're like, wait, so like he's trying to get revenge with vengeance? What's going on? I want to know.
No, that's not what people are all the
that's
time.
exactly what
You're
everyone's
like,
thinking.
just give me a Devil May Cry clone.
No, that's not even. That game didn't even play like Devil May Cry that much.
It looks like Devil May Cry.
It didn't play like it. I'll tell you like it didn't play like that.
Basically, when I see that
Sounded
game,
like it.
All right, well,
yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move
when
on.
I see that
Let's move
game,
on. Let's
I
not
just
get into this
all
argument.
of
We don't need to do this again. No.
You know what? The final
Alright,
boss.
Shashank, you haven't had a single coherent syllable in the past 20 seconds. I'm ending this section of the conversation.
Okay.
So anyways, tell me about Shin Megami Tensei 4 Last. There, I'm taking a third option.
It's going to be, the sequel to Shin Megami Tensei 4, and it's taking place in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo where the hero is killed by a demon, but then he gets resurrected by a god. Or she.
Okay, so the thing is, do you know which route it's the sequel of?
No, I don't know.
Also, that's a major 4 spoiler, man. You can't just be spoiling that shit.
Well, I don't even know anything. To me, it's not a spoiler because I didn't know it was important.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is that now I'm going to go on to the real spoiler since I actually don't give a shit.
Okay.
But in 4, you start out in the kingdom of Mikado, right?
All right.
And you're a samurai doing demon slaying shit and stuff, right? And then you go deep enough underground and you find out that the medieval kingdom of Mikado is actually built on top of the bombed out ruins of Tokyo after it got destroyed.
Yeah. I heard about that actually.
What a spoiler, dude.
Yeah. Well, let's see. When did this game come out even?
A while ago at this point, right?
3 years.
This was like a 2013 game.
There you go.
Yeah, so
it's reached the statute of limitations. I usually give it 2 years. 2 years is good, right?
Yeah, if you cared, you would have played it by now.
Exactly.
Wait,
exactly.
I do have a 3DS.
Exactly. Alright, so apparently there's a big, well, maybe not big, but a low-key big bidding war going on about Pokemon live action rights. Movie rights, right?
Jesus Christ.
And,
really?
Yeah, because, so if you guys
I
don't
can't handle this, man.
So if you guys don't know, Legendary Pictures, Films, whatever. I don't know. It's that company.
The shitty company, shitty movies.
Yeah, Legendary's the one that makes all of those adaptations of stuff, right? And it recently got bought by a Chinese company. So it seems like, I don't know if they're going to be working as much with Warner Brothers as much anymore. So there's Warner Brothers, Legendary with the Chinese company, and Sony are all trying to get their hands onto the Pokemon live action rights right now.
Which will probably be awful, but make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yo, I want to play Ash Ketchum.
Legendary made Jurassic World, Pacific Rim, and Godzilla. So actually, that's pretty good.
Well, yeah.
Those are all really good movies. Those are all really good, films at the box office. And they're all decent.
They're all films that are relatable to Pokemon, too.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about that is that Warner Brothers used to be the one who used to distribute those, but now that Legendary got bought by the Chinese company, seems like Legendary and Warner Brothers are gonna have their own issues.
Wait, I want Pokemon the live action movie with the basic plot of Jurassic World. That would be great. I would watch that.
All right, now it's actually interesting. I didn't care before, but
Yo.
now I kind of care.
No, they're not gonna do that though.
No, dude, that'd be amazing. Come on.
Yeah.
You gotta do something interesting, right?
Pokemon
No.
Zombie Apocalypse.
Pokemon is the best series at like keeping the
true.
neutrality.
That's true. And
Post-apocalyptic Pokemon.
yeah, and Pokemon Company tends to be like pretty in there at controlling the stuff that's happening with it. Well, that's it for the news this week, and then we'll be right back with what's coming out this week.
Including anime, because it's the new season.
Oh yeah, we can talk about the new anime.
And we're back.
All right, coming out this week, April 18th. Dangan, what the hell is going on?
I'm making some pounding sound effects, man. Gotta get the hype. Dun, 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 dun.
All right.
Alright, go.
Alright, April 18th, Danganronpa 2 for the PC. They're putting that shit out finally so that people who have real things that aren't the Vita can play it.
What is this
Yeah.
like? What is this like? Throwing shot? Like, honestly though, like,
I'm feeling so attacked right now.
I feel bad because the Vita is such a good console.
You
Yeah.
should feel bad. Because you have a Vita.
Wait, don't worry. Shashank, I got you. On April 19th, Axiom Verge is finally coming to the Vita.
You coming to the Vita?
So there you go.
Yeah,
Give
you
good
and like
things.
12 other people.
Yep.
What? There's a lot of people who have the Vita.
There's
Name 10.
I don't play video games with other people, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, alright. Invisible Ink on the PS4, which is some turn-based tactical stealth game. So now it's not about moving your guys on the grid to attack. It's to move your guys on the grid behind the other guys to attack.
Oh.
Wait, I have something to say about the Axiom Verge.
Oh, what?
It's kind of weird that the guy was working on Axiom Verge for like a year, right? Especially because, like, since it came out last March or something for PS4, and it's cross-buy, so that means if you buy it for PS4, you get it for PS Vita. So most people, right, you would assume, like, the developer just wouldn't give a shit after the PS4 came out, because he's not going to get much more money after the Vita one comes up, because anybody who wanted to buy it for the Vita probably bought it when it was cross-buy for PS4. I found out the reason that he was still working on the port was because Sony was actually funding his development of developing it for the port.
Oh yeah, Sony does that for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and now he's saying he's trying to use it for goodwill because he has another game that's coming out called Chasm. And he's trying to get people to buy that for the PS Vita. He's trying to gauge interest, and he wants more people to buy Axiom Verge now. I don't think that Chasm will ever come to the PS Vita, not only because it took him a year to develop Axiom Verge for Vita, but also because anybody who wanted an Axiom Verge for Vita would have already gotten it. So I'm just waiting. It's just another example of how the Vita gets shafted.
Hey, it's okay. At least they're trying.
At least they're trying.
Yep. For anyone who cares about Melty Blood, Actress Again, current code is gonna be on PC now. So for people that like those old ass anime fighters, you can finally go play that shit.
Going back to the previous like naming thing, Japan definitely goes way out the other name and when naming stuff sometimes. Like, can you repeat that name for us one more time slowly, please, Arvinder?
Melty Blood.
Melty Blood,
That's the title. Subtitle:
right?
Actress Again, current code.
What?
So
Is that like-
no, I'll explain it. So Melty Blood was the first one, right? And then Actress
Okay.
Again was like the the Super Street Fighter type thing. And then the current code was the new one where they're taking the old stuff, making more updates.
That's like the Wii U, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the just add on Wii U, or like Wii U, E, F, whatever you want to add.
Wii U. Just have an endless amount of Wii U's.
Alright, Speedrunners is finally coming out of early access and getting an official release for anyone that likes that
Jesus,
game.
dude.
Right? Hasn't that game been in like early access for like
Yeah.
years?
Like 2-3 years?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my god.
Banner Saga 2 is coming out for the PC. This is a tactical RPG for all those people that like that. I'm seeing that these tactical RPGs are showing up a lot more nowadays, so what's up with that?
It's because 2 years ago, or whenever that was, not Persona, the fucking Fire Emblem thing happened, and everybody's like, oh, Fire Emblem, and everybody's like, oh shit, we should do that too.
Yeah, because Fire Emblem and XCOM made like the big thing.
Because, like, it's not only popular in Japanese audiences, right? I don't know, like, many Western turn-based RPGs, but, like, you know a lot of, like, but, like, in a Western audience, it's called an SRPG, like a strategy RPG. But, like, XCOM is a tactical RPG.
Well,
But,
Banner
like,
Saga is
you have-
a Western game also.
So, yeah, so I feel like because that kind of audience has evolved separately, made like niche crowds separately, and like both Eastern and Western crowds, they kind of just like join, and people are like, yo, we could just get people from like Disgaea and people from like XCOM to buy this shit, and it'll probably look super cool. Plus, Fire Emblem is pretty fun, even if you don't like tactical RPGs.
All right.
It's probably also easy to develop compared to like other games.
Shipping the game.
You guys, yeah, see, Arvinder just got the point right now. Fire Emblem has been around for like ever now. It was around like in, Super Nintendo times. You know why it became popular recently? Waifu Wars. No. The big jump that made Awakening different from all the previous Fire Emblem games is the expansive amount of supports compared to the previous game. I'm discounting genealogy for now because incest and no American port, so whatever. In the other games that reached the States, like each character could only support with so many different other characters. So there's a limit on shipping potential. In Awakening, that limit is like much, much higher in the sky. It's hard to reach,
Right.
especially since your main character can't actually be with everyone, including spoiler, and also spoiler. Wait, how long has Awakening been out?
That was also 2013, right? Or 2014?
Oh yeah,
That
you
was
can
right
like you can get with like all of the bosses you fight in the game,
Oh.
save the last one.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Beat him up
And also,
and then bang.
also Prom's sister that everyone thinks jumps to her death, but she actually shows up as like an amnesiac.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Amnesia.
Alright, on April 20th, Pollen for the PC. This is a first-person sci-fi mystery adventure game, and it's also a VR game, so for people who spent hundreds of dollars, there's something to play. April 21st, Battlefleet Gothic Armada for the PC. This is an RTS, so something for those people to try too.
Yay.
And finally, April 22nd, Star Fox Zero on the Wii U.
Wait, you forgot. Well, I guess this is the next week.
If it's
But-
not next week, then don't bring it up.
No,
No?
And you hear the edit coming?
I will just bring it up next week.
Yeah, bring it up next week. And
Yep.
so that's it for coming out next week for video games. Ray, you can take,
Oh, anime, right?
yeah.
So, let's see. We got some stuff coming out. So, new Trigger anime, new original Trigger anime this season.
What's that one called?
Kiss Sniper.
Space Patrol?
Two new original Trigger anime this
Space
season.
Patrol.
Space Patrol's the small one. You gotta watch Kiss Sniper. That's the actual one.
So now
is it?
the question
Yeah.
here is this gonna have the animation differences that Kill la Kill had, where sometimes you're like, oh my god, there's so much money in my face right now, and then there's other times they're like, they just
What happened?
they just dragged the character over. They didn't even animate them. So let's see.
I mean, you know what? I think when they did Inferno Cop, they realized that sometimes people can be persuaded not to give a shit.
Yeah, you're right. That's definitely actually like what made them go like that.
No, but Key Sniper is different because, okay, unlike the previous Trigger anime, which are all like bombastic, right? This one's actually kind of low key.
Oh,
Like,
they're gonna
more
have
serious?
subtlety?
Yeah, it's a serious Trigger anime.
Kid Sniper?
Yeah, so
Kiss
I'll
Sniper.
explain the general plot. The idea is that the city that everyone lives in is actually... This is all like first episode stuff, so it's not really spoilers. It's like, it's in the synopsis, so fair game. So eventually everyone has their pain linked together. So like, when one person suffers, it's split amongst everyone in the cast equally, and it's supposed to be like an attempt to gain world peace. But besides that, not much of the plot known yet, because I didn't watch the second episode yet.
Wait,
Yeah.
something that I've noticed with like Japanese anime and stuff, they spend so much time trying to put the setting for a town, where the setting, like, they go so far back in time for the setting that like it actually doesn't make sense.
What?
I'm looking at the plot for Kiss Sniper right now, and it says the anime takes place in the fictional and futuristic Japanese town of Sugomori City, which was built on a reclaimed landfill. Once
Hey,
a
you
booming
never
metropolis
know where that
in
might
it,
come out.
no, I'm not even done. Once a booming metropolis in its prime, the city now faces a recent and slow and steadily decreasing population. So they went from landfill to building a city to booming metropolis to like dying city.
Yo, man, Japan grew pretty big, okay, after World War II. They know what it's like.
Why do I need all of this?
I'm sure it'll have something to do with the plot.
Or not at all. Or not at all.
Or it's just like...
It'll turn back into a landfill at the end.
This isn't just like this one. This is like a lot of anime.
Yeah, no, I agree.
On the other end of bad, there's a action, ecchi, harem, mecha, romance, school sci-fi show called...
Everything that everybody loves.
Yeah, called 100. And guess what? It's one of those shows where it's like, oh, there's like this crazy life form, maybe it's alien attacking Earth, and now these kids are going to a military school to be able to fight it. And oh man, she's like challenging him on the first day for a fight. Oh man, the fight ended. He fell on her. He grabbed her tits accidentally.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
But
I
seriously,
thought.
though, 100 looks so cookie cutter. It's
Right?
Wait. It's harem, right? So I thought what you were gonna say was like that the first guy is the only guy in the school, right?
I know.
They pull that out sometimes, but not always.
Yeah, no, there's
And
other
then-
males in this
and
one.
then they're like, what is this guy doing in our school? Is he like some sort of project? And he has no skills whatsoever. Does he have skills?
No, I
If he has
think he has skills.
Okay,
Yeah.
damn it, dude.
No,
It's just
in
a-
harem anime, if they do have skills, it usually comes out the other end where they really broken for no
Yeah.
reason.
Like, remember,
Yeah, at the beginning they won't have any skills, and then eventually they'll get awakened, and then boom, just destroy everything.
and Bummy and I just randomly picked a show on Crunchyroll earlier today, and we got
Was it Super Lovers?
no, but it's
God,
somewhat
no.
related because
Uh-oh.
it's called Bungo.
Potentially.
Bungo Stray Dog, and very good potential for some yaoi going on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, well, when it first started, we were like, wait a second. These are a bunch of stylish guys. Haven't seen that many women yet. And eventually one does show up towards the end of the episode, but, you know, not that important. And then the ending happens, and you see their hands are laying next to each other, and you see the one guy's pinky move towards the other.
Oh, God.
It's gonna happen.
Yo, how's the new Ace Attorney, Ray?
Oh, okay. I'm liking it.
Is it true to the
fairly
game?
loyal to the game plot, but, like, they're compressing the cases because, you know, they kind of have to.
Right.
They can only handle so many objections per episode.
Exactly. You can't overdo these things. Well, you can in games because you're the one doing it, but not in the show. They made Red White great. He's the guy who, like, says stuff in gratuitous English. And at one point, he just says, yes, we can, for no reason. The only thing I care about, actually, is the last case, because if you've played the Ace Attorney games, you know, the last case in the first game is just the only case that matters.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, because, like, to spoil or not to spoil? I mean, that's really old now, you know? I could just spoil.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Alyssa's in the other room. Alyssa, can you hear me? Try not to hear me. I'm gonna spoil stuff.
No, you have to say
Okay.
spoil stuff that she cares about.
Right. So, in Ace Attorney, you generally face off against, like, a single prosecutor. Like, every single one of the cases besides the first game, there's, like, a different prosecutor. Alyssa, you don't have to make the noises. You just have to, like, not pay attention to me. You face off against this other prosecutor, right? But in the last case, the other prosecutor you face off against is actually the defendant. And, like, every single case in the game begins with, like, showing who the actual murderer is. Except in the last case, it shows him holding the gun at the beginning of the last case. So then his mentor is the one who's prosecuting him, and you're the one defending him.
Okay.
But then it slowly comes out that his mentor, who's prosecuting him, is actually the murderer in this case, and also in a different case that happened 7 years ago.
Damn.
So, like, just when you're about to prove him innocent for this case, he confesses to the murder 7 years ago because he thinks he actually did it. But what actually happened is that there was a scuffle in an elevator and he caused the gun to drop. And he thought that killed, like, his father. But it actually shot the prosecutor, who's his mentor. And the mentor prosecutor guy got angry and then shot his father in revenge.
Ooh.
And then left the scene.
This is getting too confusing.
Yeah. See, exactly. Like, this is the sort of thing that needs a few episodes
Yeah.
to flesh out,
Yeah, that
right?
makes sense.
So, I'm really,
That
like...
doesn't seem like a real thing. People don't do that.
No, what happened was that he was already mad at the guy's father because the guy's father managed to have him, like, he managed to get him, like, a penalty on him for court for, like, falsifying evidence and stuff. So this was just, like, he wasn't going to have revenge, but then just sort of happened on the spur of the moment.
He had the chance and he couldn't stop himself.
Well, you know, if you're already angry and you're not planning to shoot someone, and then you get shot, that might change things.
Yeah, you're right.
Potentially.
All of a sudden, guns in your hand, you don't know what to do?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and you just got shot. Don't forget that part.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yo,
What?
what's the good anime this season?
Oh, I'll tell you
His
right
nightmare.
now.
Dude, this trigger
quick.
anime.
I'll tell you right now.
Rundown.
Bungo Stray Dogs.
Yeah, Bungo Stray Dogs. But the real one is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Diamond is
That's
Unbreakable.
shit. That's complete shit.
I know you're a huge JoJo hater, but for real though, that
no.
shit is like really good.
I enjoy JoJo.
Yeah.
It's good for people who like JoJo.
Yeah,
There you
you're
go,
right.
there you go.
JoJo is good for people that like JoJo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. So if I wanted to find out what was good for everyone else,
You mean you?
Joker game.
Joker game actually sounds kind of cool. It's
I'm
got
telling you,
that
watch Sniper.
Kisniver.
Sniper Joker game.
Wait, did you not like other trigger stuff?
I don't know any other trigger stuff except Kill la Kill, and I didn't really like Kill la Kill. I mean, it was alright. I would watch it, but I don't really particularly oh man, I need to watch the next episode. I really care.
I see.
What if you?
I was
There's
kind of
always the hilariously racist Terraformars.
Oh yeah, more of that.
Ooh, not about that life.
There's always Beyblade Burst.
Oh, dude, Beyblade. But
What about Super Lovers?
But no, if if you liked One Punch Man, there is a new show. I don't know if this has an English name, but it's called Sakamoto.
Two Punch Men?
Sakamoto
One Punch
Desuka,
Man?
where it's
Oh,
this one guy is really good at everything and stuff, so it might have the same type.
that
of
actually
structure.
sound kind of cool.
Yeah, so you can go try that out. Episode 1 is already
It's like
out.
mundane One Punch Man.
Yeah. Episode 1 is already out, so you can watch it right now.
Oh, other stuff. So there was the Kickstarter anime that came out.
Oh, what's that?
Well, it's just one episode, but it's Under the Dog.
What? What is?
Yeah.
But,
it's just a single original that was kickstarted. So I'm probably gonna watch that eventually, just out of curiosity.
Okay. There's a lot of
And-
continuing series going on, a lot of second seasons of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the hard thing about this
What?
season.
Oh, it's so
That
hard.
Asterisk Wars
Oh
is getting
my
a
god,
second
dude.
season. Terraform Mars
Jesus
is getting a
Christ.
second season.
That's so ass.
Well, what was?
Oh,
the
we
other
can
ones?
we can watch the motorcycle anime.
Oh yeah. We could, or we could not.
The story revolves around high school girls with
Yeah,
motorcycles.
but there's always
really-
the option of not watching it.
I really, really want to watch that 30-person, I told Ray about this before, and I think I talked about it on the podcast before. The one where it's 30 people on a bus, and they have to,
The
Figure out-
town or something?
yeah, that one.
I'm
But
not
it's,
that is.
Town. That's that isn't that a Ben Affleck movie?
Oh, Mayoiga, right?
Yeah, dude, that's
yeah,
pretty good.
I love those type of animes.
Yeah, I'm
The
gonna
one-
watch that.
Especially if, they start dying one by one. That's my shit right there.
Well, if there's ever a new serial killer in New Jersey, we'll be sure to turn to you, Shashank. Possibly with
listen,
handcuffs.
Well, I mean,
reading the description, right? It says it has 12 episodes, and then there's 30 characters.
Wait, what's the full name of it though?
Mayoiga.
Okay.
so you gotta
It
assume.
looks like half of the cast is going to die.
Yeah, that's the
It's not a necessity, right?
I mean, if you got 30 characters, you gotta kill them.
Exactly. This is right, you remember the manga Cage of Eden, right? That shit?
yeah.
It was complete shit about high schoolers. It was a harem, ecchi manga about high schoolers.
Yeah, it was really fun, right?
Yeah, who landed on a prehistoric island and they had to
Dinosaurs
survive.
and shit.
Yeah, so they either went crazy, they started killing each other, or they killed other things, or they just died because they didn't know how to survive on an island. They would just fall down some rock. And
Shashank,
that
you're
was
getting
great.
really excited about this. I was joking
The
before. I'm not
rocks.
joking. You're scaring me a little.
No, but these type of and then there were none type of stories, that type of trope, Agatha Christie book type of trope, that's the best. For me, that's what I want. If I could get animes like that, those would be the best.
All right, Shashank, I got you covered. Don't worry. Sailor Moon
And-
Crystal Season 3.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if they learned how to put some money into the animation finally. Probably not though. I don't have any faith in Toei these days. they really don't care with some of the animation done in Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Super though.
Oh man, Sailor Moon looks so bad.
Ooh. It's really hard to believe that Toei Animation is not putting money into their anime.
Toei Animation is the one with the cat, right?
Yeah, it's the one with the wave crash and the cat.
Oh, there actually is something good coming out this season that we haven't talked about
What?
yet. Boku no Hero Academia.
Oh, what's
Oh, that is.
Wait, what is
I've
that
heard
about?
of that.
So basically, it's like one of those world where everyone has superpowers sort of things, right?
It's like that Disney movie or the kids movie from before, like
Hero Six?
Super High School or something, Superhero High School.
But in an anime where it actually makes
you
more
mean
sense.
fuck, what was that? What was it called? I know exactly the movie you're talking. Wait, are you
Sky High.
Yeah, that movie was
It's
so ass.
So just thinking about this, you have to come to the conclusion that it's not just a Japanese thing for like to make everybody in high school the ones to save the world. When people point to that being a Japanese thing, I can always just point to Sky High.
Yeah, I mean,
A high school.
you gotta get the high schoolers so that way the kids can relate and be like, yeah, I like that. I'm like that. I like that. Yeah, that's it. All right, and that's it for
You're right. The
anime
animation
talk.
for Roll Trigger looks like ass.
Looks like ass. Anyone have any final remarks other than the fact that we're gonna play more Dark Souls and go to PAX East this weekend? When this comes out, it'll
I can't
be
wait for the Blu-ray for the Girls in Panzer movie to come out. That's what I'm looking for
Oh, nice.
this season.
Yo, Blu-ray, but does that mean you get the Blu-ray?
No, it
Extra
doesn't.
features, special features.
Then what's the point?
No. The Blu-ray is important because this movie actually isn't getting an English translation from anyone until the Blu-ray.
Okay, all right. Then, all right.
As in, I haven't gotten to watch the movie
All right,
yet.
then you're right. Then it's worth it. All right, anyone else?
Wait, who are like the actual like subbers and localization people for like a lot of anime now? Like before, there were like so many different people who did it, right? But I would think now it's like consolidated within like a couple of teams. Like I know Funimation does their own dubbing, and then Crunchyroll do they do dubbing too?
They don't do dubbing. They just do their own.
no.
No, I mean subbing.
They
I mean
do their own subbing. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Funimation subbing like sucks.
Yeah, Funimation has some issues with their stuff. Funimation dubbing is fine.
Looks so
Subs
bad.
are not that great.
After they subbing.
Subs are not that great. Netflix subbing is pretty good because
Netflix. Oh yeah, Fully Cooley season 2.
oh
Maybe?
yeah, Fully Cooley thing that's probably not coming out till next year. The only interesting thing about it was that Toonami is partially funding it.
But the most important question is, will it have the pillows?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That was podcast number.
wait, Fully Cooley is getting another thing?
Okay, no, we don't. I said enough. We're not doing this. Where was I? Shit, I lost my track. All right, that was it. That was it for
Wait, do you
podcast
think-
number 35. We'll
do
see
you
you.
think
Shut
that
up!
they
I'm ending it. We'll see you guys
No!
next week. Hopefully, because we may or may not record next week because of taxes. Bye.
I'll record 30
Wait.
seconds of no one's here.
Wait, Lucas is here.
Oh, Lucas, you're not going to
Wait,
PAX,
you guys
right?
can make videos and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, it'll be the Lucas and Raymond show. It'll be 30
Alright.
seconds of Lucas not wanting to do that.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right. Bye.
Goodbye.
We'll be right back.